In this video, we dive once again into the world of media communication theories. However, different to the other communication theories that I have broken down on this channel, this spreadable media theory is one that was conceived in a contemporary media landscape. Appearing in the book of the same name in 2013, this theory is posited by contemporary media legend Henry Jenkins, along with his associates Sam Ford and Joshua Green. When we think about the spectrum of media theories, from the media having great power to the media having no power, we can actually see that spreadable media imagines that audiences have the upper hand in the media-audience relationship, that audiences are the ones who exhibit great control and agency compared to the media itself. And in a nutshell, this theory suggests that in a contemporary media landscape, audiences are crucial in the distribution of the media, hence the spread. Therefore, audiences have great agency in how they engage with and share media content, and this agency can actually have a knock-on effect in terms of controlling how the media is distributed. And so therefore, the media itself has little control. The only sort of agency and control that the media might have is in creating its own original content. From there, audiences pick it up and run with it. Alternatively, audiences are active users. They have a great deal of agency as they are considered to be participatory members in this relationship. One of the advantages of spreadable media theory is that it draws from and builds upon a number of communication theories from the past, such as uses and gratifications, the two-step or multi-step flow theories from the 1940s, as well as more recent theories such as the idea virus. And it combines these together to form spreadable media. The idea of a multi-step flow is something that's not new, where in the past we had the mass media that would then influence what were considered to be opinion leaders. So these might be people who in the past held a great deal of respect and responsibility in society. So teachers or priests or politicians. And then they would pass on the message that they received from the mass media to other individual audience members, and some of them might pass them on to yet more. And so hence you've got the multi-step flow, where the flow of information still comes from the media and is passed through multiple steps to different audience members. The idea virus is what we think about when we think about something going viral. That viral model which we are very familiar with in a post-COVID society. But the idea is where a small amount of people have, in the case of the idea virus, an idea, or in the case of spreadable media, a piece of media content that they would then pass on to a small group of their friends and associates, who would then pass it on to a larger group, who would then pass it on to the masses, and the virus grows exponentially. Jenkins, Ford, and Green saw the merits of these theories and actually pushed them together to better explain how the media is distributed in a modern landscape. And while they support these theories, they do challenge the concept of a virus, because a virus, as we know, is something that people don't necessarily choose to pass on. It's something that audiences can't control. They are referred to merely as carriers, or in the case of the idea virus, as sneezers. Instead, according to Jenkins, Ford, and Green, audiences are participatory in the distribution of the media, and they exert agency in the spreadability model. They choose what to spread and how to spread it. This has the effect that they don't simply pass along static text. Rather, they transform the material through active production processes or through their own critiques and commentary, so that it better suits their own social and expressive needs. Think about when you send somebody something that you've seen on Instagram. You can choose to send that photo along with an emoji of a vomiting face. Or you could send it with an emoji of star eyes. And the person who you're sending that to, effectively your audience member, would get a different understanding about how to read that original image based on that simple emoji critique. So you as an audience member are actually participating in the distribution and the production of this original media text by sending along with a critique. A simple example from the very early days of mass use of the internet. South Park is not something that we would probably associate with the idea of viral, spreadable content. However, South Park only came to be after their original creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, created a short film about a fight between Santa Claus and Jesus Christ. This short animation was called The Spirit of Christmas, and in 1995, the only way to spread something around the internet was through email. And it just so happened that a link to this video was emailed thousands and thousands of times, eventually landing in the inbox of some powerful Hollywood executives. 2 years later, and Parker and Stone made their first animated series featuring some of the characters from A Spirit of Christmas. That was in 1997, and 23 years later, South Park still exists on regular television. But the example that Jenkins, Ford, and Green use in their book is about Susan Boyle. In April 2009, Susan Boyle performed an audition for Britain's Got Talent. When it aired, it reached over 10 million UK TV viewers. However, in the early days of YouTube, somebody decided to upload it soon after. And in 9 days' time, it attracted more than 10 times the original television audience. The original video is now up to over 229 million views and has been re-uploaded to YouTube 75 different times. It's key to note that all of those times were not uploaded by the original rights holders. Henry Jenkins sees spreadable media as something that audiences take on and just do without worrying about any legal ramifications. And so Jenkins, Ford, and Green decided that there were 4 qualities that are really key to defining this new audience-media relationship. First, media needs spreadability. That's the potential, both technically and culturally, for audiences to share content for their own purposes with or without the permission of the original rights holders. When we say technically, we mean access to fast-speed internet, access to sites like YouTube. So the idea of a smartphone that can shoot something straight away and immediately upload it to YouTube is the idea that we have technology that enables spreadability. For something to be spreadable culturally, that's the potential for us as individual users of the media to decide that we can and are willing to share things. Something as simple as making your social media accounts public rather than private is an example of an individual who is culturally prepared for things to be spreadable. Transnationality is the ability for the media to not be limited by geographic borders and instead have the potential to be spread broadly and in little time. If we think about the broadcast era, even television programs such as the Olympics required licensing agreements for local TV networks in Australia to be able to broadcast something that appeared overseas. Now, anybody can upload anything to YouTube and it's immediately accessible from almost anywhere on the planet. What I think is perhaps the most important quality of spreadable media is this idea of motivated sharing. So this is the audience's reasons for continuing to spread media. This part of Henry Jenkins' theory actually stems from the uses and gratifications theory. This suggests that audiences are in control of the media because they seek the media to extend a personal or perhaps social need. You might choose to share a post about the Black Lives Matter movement because you are trying to fulfill the need to support something in society that you see as valuable. Or you may have a personal need and send a friend a snap of your shoulder in order to merely keep up your snap score. All of these decisions are made by individuals as they are going through that sharing process. And finally, a quality of spreadable media is its stickability. These are the aspects of a media product that have the potential to attract audience attention and deep engagement. So where I mentioned the video of Susan Boyle, the appeal of that video is here we have an older lady who does not have the physical qualities that we would usually associate with a winner of one of these reality TV talent shows. And yet, as soon as she opens her mouth and the judges hear her voice, we have that surprise. And this is what made it an incredibly stickable, attractive, appealing video. And when we combine these four qualities, we have media that has the potential to become a viral or spreadable hit. And this gives power to the audience as they're no longer merely consumers of the media, but they have the knowledge and the technical tools to actually be producers of the media too. By both understanding the language of the media as well as having the production abilities, it means that they have this transformative effect on the media itself. As each thing spreads, it can change. A really perfect example of this is a meme. This demonstrates the audience's active participation and how this can have a transformative power over a media product. It's this participatory culture that can include producing, commenting, editing, and distributing. Jenkins sees these as local decisions made by individual users in the audience that can shape the media in various and unpredictable ways. Take here the 2019 internet sensation of the distracted boyfriend meme. By individual audience members taking up the language of the meme and then putting their own spin on it in order to appeal to what they see as their niche audiences, the distracted boyfriend meme actually came up with hundreds of different variations, each designed to further spread the original concept. Combine this with another popular meme at the time, Talk About Area 51, and we can see how a spreadable media culture has developed in our modern media era. But perhaps the best and most current example of spreadable media can be seen in TikTok, which is essentially just the video version of memes anyway. TikTok was built for spreadability. Apart from a typical like and comment feature, TikTok actually allows for users to build upon other videos. The duet feature is a perfect example of this. If you've ever seen a duet chain where people just add more and more videos to previous duets, this is a perfect example of how media can become spreadable and stickable, as audience members in TikTok actually want to jump on board a new trend or craze. It also allows users to save and react to a video, as well as really simply applying the effect or sound from the original video. And this not only allows people to pick up a trend and craze and make it their own, but in fact it promotes and encourages this motivated sharing and stickability of TikTok content. Furthermore, TikTok allows for the easy sharing of content outside the app more so than any other social media platform. Other platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and especially Snapchat try to keep people isolated within their apps themselves. TikTok has gone in the other direction by making all of their content easily shareable and savable within just a swipe and tap of your fingers. An example of TikTok spreadability can be seen in the 2020 craze of the album cover trend, where users would take on a piece of jazz music and pose like their favorite album cover. And the idea is that they would form a question or a call in their text, and then the song title from that album would form the answer. And so by taking on the original joke or the original idea, the original language of this particular type of TikTok, audiences could actually grow this organically and create something that was spreadable and yet somehow original. And so while it feels that spreadable media theory really accurately depicts what we see in the use of TikTok today, it's important to understand that every single media communication theory has its strengths and its limitations or its criticisms. So here are some of spreadable media theories. It is a modern day contemporary media theory to explain a contemporary media landscape. That is perhaps its greatest strength compared to the media theories of the past, which were all formulated in the broadcast era. It describes audience agency as participatory, where they are contributing to the production and distribution of media products, rather than merely selecting and interpreting them. Audience agency in the past was attributed to things as simply as changing the channel on the television. Well, here we can see that audience agency means something far greater. And finally, it acknowledges, adapts and merges various traditional theories of the past, rather than starting from scratch and criticizing everything that's come before. However, the theory does have its criticisms too. Jenkins, Ford, and Green didn't provide any empirical evidence to support their claims. In their book Spreadable Media, the theory is based on case studies such as the Susan Boyle one that I went over before, as well as referencing the research of others. No original research was conducted. Also, it ignores the idea that audience participation is not always equal or democratic. Media platform administrators and moderators actually wield a great deal of control behind the scenes, where you might think that things on your For You page in TikTok are naturally occurring, but actually they're selected by individuals working for the media platform. Interestingly, TikTok actually got into a lot of hot water after some leaked internal documents revealed that people who were ugly or disabled were to be blocked or shadow banned from appearing on the For You page because TikTok wanted to promote itself as a cool and attractive app. Also, spreadable media theory only explains one type of relationship in the modern media landscape. It doesn't actually explain a contemporary distribution model that bypasses audience involvement, such as Netflix. And so we can see that although spreadable media theory does work quite well to explain some of the things that are happening in a modern media landscape, as with all media theories, it isn't perfect, and we need to acknowledge its drawbacks as well as its strengths. So hopefully this provides you a reasonable overview of a more modern media theory compared to some of the other ones that this channel has previously analysed. It's useful for VCE students to discuss a theory that is a little bit more contemporary and more aligned to the relationships within the contemporary media landscape. And it works well to actually compare to some of the theories of the past to really highlight their weaknesses. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.